Alright, so to get you into your next activity, that one being on linear regressions, I first want to introduce you to a few things. So linear regressions, first of all, that's just a fancy word for the line of best fit. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to take this data that's also found, by the way, on page 86 in your book, and you see it right here, and I'm going to first make a scatter plot and then find the line of best fit to represent the data. So what's going on here? You can read the paragraph yourself, or just listen to me talk about it. So I guess honeybees have a weird way of communicating where food is, where they will do this little wiggle dance, and the longer they do this dance for, you see these points here, it's how long it takes them to do each dance, the farther away their food is. So you notice here, when they wiggle for like 3.5 seconds, the food's about 1.3 kilometers away. 5 seconds, 2.65. So the longer they wiggle for, the further away their food is. And it kind of communicates to other bees where to go. So what I'm going to do first to make the scatter plots is assign variables. So I'm going to assign x to be the distance and y to be time. You might think that's weird because time is usually on the x-axis, but here, the distance of food, how far away their sweet food is, that would be the input, because once the first bee knows how far away a food source is, it then takes that and then does its little communication wiggle dance based on how far away it is. So they input the distance and then they output how long they have to basically do this little wiggle pattern for. So what I can do is make a scatter plot out of these points here. I'm going to do that right now. By the way, for this in your notes, I would still draw a scatter plot so you can see it and what it looks like. But it doesn't have to be the perfect scatter plot, just make it somewhat readable like mine is here. So this x-axis will be the distance in kilometers, and then the y will be the amount of seconds that it danced for. So that's the y-axis. So I'm going to label this, x's go from 1 to 6, so I'll just make every 2 spaces 1. So it's kind of spaced out, the way it's all not, it's not all clumped together. So there we go. And then for my y's, I go from 3.5 to about 8, so I'll go by ones here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I'm going to make that scatter plot. So the first point is 1.35 for x, 3.5 for y. So that's going to be about here or so. And maybe more like there or so, but that's good enough. So I'm going to plot the rest of the points and just save you time right now. So here it is. Here's my scatter plot based on this data over here. Well, you notice that it goes in not a perfect line, but it's pretty linear. It's pretty close to, I go up in distance, I go up in seconds of that dance it takes. So what I can do by hand, if I wanted to, is pick 2 points, like that point and make a line. I don't want to do that. So instead, I'm going to use my calculator to find what's called a linear regression. Again, a line of best fit. So here's what you do. So I'm going to go to a new page. So I'm going to press the Stat button. That stands for statistics. When I press that button, I'll have this screen right here. Press Enter. That will be Edit. So you want to go to Stat Edit. Once you do that, you'll get this screen right here. These are lists you can type in to do scatter plots and define lines of best fit or linear regressions for you. So basically this here, the L1, that basically becomes X, and this L2 basically becomes Y. So I'm going to enter all my points in, so all my X values, all my Y values, type the number right here, and then press Enter, type another one, so type in all your X values here, press Enter. When you do that, it looks something like this. So right now you can only see the last 6 values, but you notice that I have the 11th point. That means the 11th point in the table is 6. Well, the last X value was 6. And notice they're all in order too. They should be in order all the way down from the first point to the last point. Now, arrow to the right So you'll be in L2 on top and do the same thing. The first point, enter down, keep typing these in, and get to the last point. So it looks something like this. So now I have all my x values in this first list. L1 stands for list 1. I have all my values, my y values in the second list. And notice too, they match up. So in the table, it was x to y, 5, 7, and here it's 5, 7. These should all match up. Make sure they're all typed in correctly. Make sure you don't have any decimals missing. Like you don't have 51 instead of 5.1, stuff like that. So again, 2.65 matches with 5. It does here as well in the book. These should be exactly the same. Once you have all these, you're going to press the stat button again. Just go ahead and do that. You'll then want to, once you press that stat button, arrow over one to the right. So you go from edit to calc, just say calculate. The fourth option right here is linear regression. Notice it says ax plus b because it gives you a line where y equals ax plus b. They just substitute a for m. A stands for your slope, just like m stands for your slope normally. So now, when you hit that, arrow down to number 4, press enter, and then press enter again. And you'll get something like this. So again, you should have done stat, arrow over to calculate, and then the fourth option, which is linear regression, press enter. And you have to press it twice, the enter button. When you do, you get something like this. So what does that mean? Again, they're giving you the equation y equals ax plus b. So y equals ax plus b. So they're telling you that a is 0.868. I'm going to round to nearest thousands. I don't need to put all those decimals down. And that b, same b as before, mx plus b, it's the y-intercept, is 2.553. That means that my line of best fit has this equation. So y equals 0.868x plus 2.553. That's the equation, that's the line of best fit right there. So now, go ahead and press this y equals button and type in this equation right here. So you should now have this on your screen. Okay, once you got that, hit second y equals. I want you to go to that stat plot option. So again, hit second y equals. And then your screen should look something like this. So when you have this stat plot option is how the calculator makes a scatter plot for you. That's right, no drawing axes, no plotting points yourself. This will do it for you. So press enter on this one button, and then once you press enter, you'll see something like this. What you're going to want to do is press enter on the on button. This turns the scatter plot on. You'll see options. You can do dots, which you want to do that. You can do bars also, but I wouldn't do bars. Keep it on dots. Make sure the X list says L1, so your first list in your stat edit option will be X, your second list is Y. And you can choose for marks, square, cross, or a dot. That's up to you. Once you have all this, I want you to press the graph button. So then it should look something like this. So you should have this on your screen. If you don't, press zoom 6 for zoom standard. It'll go to the regular 10 by 10 window. Or better yet, press zoom 0, and that will give you most of just this view right here kind of zoomed in. So you see all the points plotted and the line we graphed in the y equals option, both graphed together. So you see the points and the line of best fit. So this is how the calculator does a scatter plot for you. You'll be doing a lot of this for your homework today. So anyways, your homework today is found on page 87. Hopefully you finish it in class. Just 1 through 3. Just want to do those 3 problems and that's it. In fact, right now, if you want, I'm even going to start off number 1 for you. If you want to do it yourself, turn the video off right now and get to work. Otherwise, I'm going to do 1 for you right now. So let's move on. So number 1 on page 87. Here's what the problem looks like. Number 1 wants you to find the linear regression line, so line of best fit on your calculator. using these 3, 4, 5, 6 points here. So again, what I'm going to do is on my calculator, I'm going to press Stat, Edit. I'm going to delete the old list. Here's how you delete the old list. So go back to Stat, Edit, and then arrow up your cursor so that you're highlighting the L1 title. When you do that, then press the clear button, which is underneath the arrows, and then press enter. And that will wipe out all the points like this. So do that with list 1 and list 2. It's the old example. Wipe those points off, then retype these points in. So this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, and this point, all those numbers go into your X column, L1. And all of these numbers, 6.3, 5.6, all the second ones, the Y coordinates, go into L2. So do that, and you'll have something that looks like this. So I now have all of my X values, the ones that are underlined in brown, right here, and the Y values right here in this list, and they match up. So like the point -3, 4.8 matches up. Make sure they do that. There should be an even number of items in each list. So again, press the Stat button, then arrow over to where it says Calculate, then arrow down to the fourth option, or just press 4, press Enter twice, and you'll get a screen like this. And by the way, if you notice that over here in the Stat Edit screen, I forgot the last point. I did originally, 0, -1.4. Wait, that is there, never mind. I must delete it by accident. But anyway, so it was there. Forget I said that. But anyways, so when you do your stat calculate linear regression, you get this right here. So that means that your equation, I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth here. So your A, that's your slope with this, is -1.24, and your B is 0.66. So my equation is y equals -1.24 out of space here plus 0.66. So this is the answer. It's number 1. It just wants me to find that linear regression equation, the line of best fit for this data. And now I've done that. So there you go. Number 1's done. So now try 2 and 3. Those involve a couple questions. If you have any questions, please ask me or ask someone else. And good luck.